Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody, and today I'm in the Just Flight Piper PA-28 Arrow, and we're going to take a long haul flight. We're going to see what can this aircraft do. Now, I am definitely within the maximum range as outlined in the manual, but I thought I'll push it a little bit further than I have before, and we're going to take this flight in the Skypark, this cool little Korea app that you can see in front of us right here. We're going to fly from 16D, which is Pera Municipal, right up there to Big Trout Lake in Canada. So we're starting in the US, traveling up into Canada in the Piper Arrow. So as you can see over here, the trip itself is 484 nautical miles. We get $1,223 to fly this flight. So go ahead and request that right there. Apparently we are taking pajamas. Men's and boys' pajamas. So there you go. That's a little bit different, isn't it? Anyway, so what I'll do, guys, is let's go and jump into the sim. We'll set things up and we'll get this flight on its way. Okay, here we are at Pera Municipal, everybody. So I'll just pull the Skypark app across right here. First thing I want to do is go ahead and load up that flight. All the pajamas are now on board. It's quite handy because I fly in my pajamas, so that's pretty handy, isn't it? So go ahead and plan the flight right here. And as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to fly direct because we are lazy as. Go ahead and press fly. So that's all set up, ready to go. If we're going to manage, the great thing about the app, it does tell you what the highest obstacle you're going to encounter on the way up to Canada. We're heading in an easterly direction, which is odd thousand. So I'm going to probably go up to around about, how about we say 7,000 feet, just as a random altitude. So let's get rid of that right there. We'll throw it over beside me. Let's jump into the cockpit, everybody. Here we go in the Just Flight PA-28 Arrow 3 for those playing at home. I just popped a circuit breaker. That can happen. So we'll get rid of our chocks and our tie downs right there. We're going to have it on auto fuel. We're going to use the GNS 530. We're not going to have a co-pilot because we don't want anyone to witness how bad our flying is. I'm going to go ahead and tune this to 122.8 while I'm thinking about it, everybody. Okay, everything is good, looking good, feeling great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the RPM right up there. I'm going to crack the throttle just a little bit. And I'm going to cruise across here. I'm going to go out of the aircraft for some unknown reason. We'll throw in our battery. Fuel pump is required. And let's throw in that rotating beacon just so people know what's going on. We'll go ahead and turn on and get the mixer up at the same time. Did it pop? It did not pop. Okay, let's... yeah, we have got ignition. No, we haven't. It helps if you have your fuel on, everybody. Absolute professionalism here, as always. Anyway, let's just ignore the fact that I don't know what I'm doing. That's what everyone else does when they watch this channel. Alright, we're in the cockpit right here. We've finally got ourselves set up, ready to go. And we're bouncing around a little bit here, but that's all good. Let's go ahead and turn on our pitot and our collision lights. We'll throw this on onto 1200, 1200. We're going to throw our CDI onto GPS because we are going to actually use, we'll just turn that around to nav right here. If we put this onto nav, it means our autopilot will follow our flight plan in our GPS. And let's have a look around. It's looking good, everybody. It's a fairly nice looking day out there. So let's go and taxi out to the runway. We'll get ready to take off. Catch you soon. Okay, we're lined up here on runway 13, ready for takeoff. Landing lights are on. Let's go ahead and give this full power. Let's get out of here. Runway has got a few bumps in it, as you can see. It's a little bit of an uphill here before it trails away. Ooh, that rudder is really kicking in. Okay, let's get up there. Ooh, that rudder was really getting in there. I think the wind direction had something to do with that also. We're looking to crab straight off the bat here. Let's get that landing gear up, everybody. And we're looking to trim out to 90 knots. Just pull that nose up just slightly. Let's try to get that trim. Okay, we're out of there now, so we can go ahead and turn that fuel pump off. We will make a turn to the left just in a minute. In fact, I'm going to let the autopilot do it. We get down here, let's throw on our autopilot. Right, we're back in the cockpit here, everybody, and what I'm going to do is just look to, first of all, let's get my barrow correct. It's a little bit out of place. We are at 100 knots. 100 knots is actually not too bad in this aircraft. You can see the airspeed decreasing just a little bit. I will trim out to 90. 90 is the ideal climb speed, I should say. But getting up to 7,000 feet should give us a nice bit of altitude there that we can get a little bit of efficiency out of the plane. It's not mega high, but it's high enough. So we're getting some nice lift here right now. Conditions must be right. So what I'll do, everybody, is I'll meet you once we just get up to cruise altitude. Okay, everybody, we've actually climbed up here past 6,500 feet pretty comfortably, it'd be fair to say. Just another 300 feet to go and we'll be up at our cruise altitude of 7,000 feet. One thing we will have to keep checking on during the flight is just making sure that these fuel tanks are being drained from evenly. I do have the automatic fuel selector on, so it should automatically do it, but just want to check out to make sure, check out throughout the flight to make sure one isn't being used a lot more than the other. As we approach our cruise altitude right here, hover over the Piper wording right there, click on that, and as you can see, if I hover over them, we have our altitude hold enabled. Now the real world aircraft doesn't have altitude hold spitted out, Mace, but this particular aircraft does, because just for our convenience. And look at this, I'm up amongst the clouds, so it's good that I've got the pitot heat on over here. One thing I need to do now is just trim this thing out. So what we're looking to do is get the manifold pressure, should be around 2300. It's already there. So we'll just look to ease back the RPMs to about 2200. I didn't quite get there. I think that will be good enough, or should just ease down to about 22. There we go. Close enough, everybody. Close enough is good enough. So there we go. Quick check, T's and P's are in the green. Pressure is green. Oil temperature is in the green. If we look over here, all our circuit breakers are intact. So we're looking good, feeling great, everybody. So what I'll do is we've got on the GPS right here, we can see we've got 473 nautical miles to go. ETA of nearly 4 hours. So this will certainly be the longest trip in an aircraft like this that I've taken for a long time. And certainly the longest one in the Piper Arrow that I've done before. So what I'll do is I'll just give you updates along the way, everybody. I'm going to sit back, relax and enjoy the flight. And I hope you do the same. So we will join you once maybe a couple hours into the flight. We'll see how we're going. Catch you soon. Okay, welcome back here, everybody. We're cruising along at just over 7,000 feet, and it's been an interesting journey thus far. About an hour into the journey. Let me go across and grab the performance charts here, because we've trimmed out the aircraft, got the power settings correct for the conditions that we're in at the moment. So just over 7,000 feet. I'm looking for a power cruise around 65% power. So if you work this out here, we're at 7,000 feet. We come across to the air temperature now. Looking at the air temperature, let's just check that out right here. We are just on zero, just above zero, or around about zero. So let's check out what our power settings should be. 7,000 at about zero. We should be heading at 126, we're 728, 128.5 knots. True airspeed is what we should be getting at 2,500 RPM. Gear up, of course, flaps up. Our gross weight is a little bit lighter. But that's what we're looking for, 11.4 and 2,500. So we're about 11.4 on our dial here, just under 11.4 with just over 2,500 RPM. We're actually at a ground speed of 128, which is what the true airspeed should be, and a indicated airspeed of just on 120 knots. But if we grab our tablet up here, true airspeed 126, so we're there or thereabouts. We're in the ballpark. We're only a couple of knots off where we should be from a true airspeed point of view. I mean, our fuel flow is slightly light, so we could afford to increase that just slightly, and that would probably make the difference of 1 or 2 knots that we should be at. So there goes the power tables. Like I say, about an hour into the journey, travelling along nicely, apart from having to dodge some of this icing. This aircraft is not designed for any sort of serious icing, by the way, so watch out for that. Try to avoid it at all costs, really. So we had to change our altitude a few times. That's why we've ended up on this funny altitude right here. But anyway, let's continue on with this long distance journey for the Piper Arrow. Hi everybody, welcome back, and we're still cruising along quite nicely here at just over 7,000 feet in our long-range flight here in the Piper Arrow. Conditions are pretty good. Let's jump back into the cockpit and check out what's going on. 189 nautical miles to go now, so well over halfway, which is great. One thing I did want to check is that the fuel tanks were evenly being used, and with that automatic fuel tank transfer going on over here on the pad. Let's bring it up right here. The auto fuel selector is what I was looking for. We've got that set, so that means both tanks should be utilised evenly, and they are. We've got right here, we've got in between 20 and 30 on the left, and between 20 and 30 on the right. Fuel pressure's in the green is good. T's and P's are in the green also. So far so good, everybody. Pretty straightforward flight, apart from the icing early. Nothing too much to report as we head from the USA into Canada. I'm not too sure if we're in Canadian into Canada itself yet, into Canadian airspace. I'm not too sure. I'd need to check it out. I think we're getting very close to it, that's for sure. But the Piper's handling it quite nicely at the moment, in fact. So an hour 26 left in the flight, so it'll certainly be a nice distance, this one, that's for sure. The sun's starting to, what is the time in the game itself? 4:38 PM, so yeah, we should start to see that sun disappear pretty soon. But so far so good. What I'll do, guys, is 186 nautical miles to go. How about I'll join you once we're on final approach there. Okay, welcome back everybody, and we're on short finals here into Big Trout Lake, looking to trim for 75 knots, and we found it nicely here. Beautiful little approach here, I've got to say. The runway's quite wide too, I have to say. We're on a little bit on the slow side here. Here's this look to give it a little bit of nose down, a bit of power. Looking for that 75 as we cross the threshold. Enough of the sun stuck around, by the way. It's not dark at all. Let's just pull that power right off as we cross the threshold, looking up, holding it off, holding it off. Oh, it's a bit twitchy. Bit twitchy. Oh, a bit bouncy. A bit twitchy and a bit bouncy, everybody. But, nonetheless, let's get rid of those flaps now. We got there. Probably didn't have my trim set up quite nicely enough there on that final little, that little approach in there. Needed to have it set up just slightly better. So we're just going to backtrack here. So thoughts on the flight? Wow, I'm delivering men's and boys' pyjamas apparently. Let's go ahead and get rid of that landing light. One thing I will point out down here, everybody, is look at the fuel tanks. Only just below 50% down here. The crossfeed system did work, or the tank selector, auto tank selector did work. Let's not go on two wheels as we come around the corner here. A few little GA aircraft around this nice little airport. We'll take a quick look outside very, very soon. But a very pleasant flight. Apart from that early icing, it really was pretty uneventful, would be fair to say. We're just going to park in over here. Let's park it all up. Let's throw a parking brake on. And from a distance point of view, it could have done a lot more, actually, to be honest. Let's go ahead and grab our Skypark, and we just got to press the deliver. Boom. Level 5, a big karma boost right there. If we go in and have a look at our current situation, if we go into progress, level 5, we haven't got too far till level 6, just 90 points required, 4429, look at that big increase in pay right there. You beauty. And karma 12.6, so we've been good on our jobs. Let's go ahead and shut down the aircraft here. Fuel to cut off, fuel pump can go off, RPMs can go back, pitot off, rotating, beacon off, collision lights off, battery can go off. There we go. How about we go ahead and set up the chocks, tie downs and tow bar. What I will do is I'm going to open this door manually. We've got to unlock up there. We've got that latch there, and then you just open it up. Jump outside. Beautiful. Let's get that out of the road. Look at that, you little ripper. What a beautiful sight there. The sun is just starting to disappear. Let's just jump up here and take a look at the local area here. I haven't quite got this camera right. What a great little airport right here. Big Trout Lake. I'm going to guess you can catch some big trout in there. Beautiful area to fly in. Straight up over that lake and then made a left base in here into a westerly direction. Not really much wind at all. Looks like a cool little area around here. A little bit of a town. Looks like the kind of place that bears would love to hang out. And a nice wide runway for freaks like me to come in and land. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Big Trout Lake. This Skypark. Another successful pajama mission. Ha! I hope you did enjoy this flight. Something just a little bit different. We just stretched the legs a little bit on the Piper Arrow 3. The PA-28R, and it really did deliver. Could have gone a lot further, in fact, so that surprised me a little bit, but obviously we were flying very efficiently for the first time in our lives. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, everybody, take it easy.